Hello, this is Val Campbell. I've got some exciting things to share with you. I've also got some tough messages to deliver, and I'm sorry about that, but it's just the way it is. I think it's important to really take an accurate look at what's going on around us so that we know how to make the right kinds of decisions for our future. There are a lot of people out there right now looking for jobs. I get that. It's what we've been taught. Get a good education, get a good job. Mama says, you need to go get a job. Grandma says, hey, you need to go get a job. Dad says, you got it, right? Look, I believe in this place in time in history, looking for employment might be the last thing that we should be doing, because there are options available to us today that we have control over online to be able to go out and make money very quickly. The fact of the matter is, employers don't exist for the benefit of the employees. They make money for the owners of those companies. Okay, it's just the way it is. I'm sorry. Okay. When you're an employee, you work a period of time, then you get paid. At that point, you and the employer are even. Okay? I hate to say it this way because I know it's harsh, but employees are productivity tools. They exist in terms of the business to be able to produce goods and services, which the business then sells to consumers in the marketplace. Okay? The employee doesn't get paid the value of the product that they produce. A carpenter gets paid $18 an hour. The construction company sells that to somebody else for $50 an hour. You get the point, what I'm saying, right? No employer is going to consult with all the employees for how it's going to involve their life when they decide to put in teller machines or mechanize the plant. It's just the way it is. Rather than looking for employment, I'm suggesting to people these days that we take a look at teaming up together, going online, and selling goods and services to be able to generate cash flow. Okay, this is something that's very easy to do. It's a snap online. Our parents didn't have this option, right? They either had to start a small business or they had to work for somebody else, pretty much. We've got another option today. And I'm going to let Robert Kiyosaki talk to you a little bit about some of the dynamics of cash flow and different concepts of employment and business and things like that. But while you're watching this, think about what the internet allows you to do today. You literally, within minutes, can be making money online if you know how to do that. And I'm willing to show you what I've learned because I went through a lot of this myself. I decided to shut a construction company down in 2008. The market was brutal. I didn't like what the business model was anymore because of all the regulation and the litigation that was out there. And I just thought, hey, I'm one of the best at what I do. I'm going to be able to go out and get a job working for somebody else. Here's a clue. I'm over the age of 50. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. And nobody is hiring somebody over the age of 50 for anywhere near what I was making when I was 45 or 40. Okay, I didn't even get interviews. In fact, I went on one job interview, and it was me and a couple of people there that were 30 years old and had no experience whatsoever, and I literally knew half of the clients on a first name basis of that company, and I didn't even get into the second round. Okay, so you figure out what that's about. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, I decided I needed to take control of my situation, and I'm encouraging you to do the same thing. This is a time and place in history where you do not have to put up with this, and I'm going to be able to show you how to do that. Watch this video, give me a holler, and let's sit down and devise a plan for you. I don't charge you for this, okay? This is something that we can produce as a network to go out into the internet and create tremendous cash flow in ways that nobody ever could before. Watch this video and let's talk a little bit afterwards.
One of the more important lessons my rich dad taught me, he said there was 4 types of people in the world of business or money, whatever he said. And this here are the 4 different types of people, and he called this the cash flow quadrant. So E stands for employee, S stands for self-employed, small business or specialist like a doctor or a lawyer. B stands for big business, 500 employees or more, and I stands for investor. Now the distinction here is this, is that each of these are 4 different types of people. They have 4 different tax laws. for all 4 different types of people, and this is throughout the world. But it was my poor dad who always said to me, son, go to school so you can get a job. So my poor dad wanted me to be an employee like him. And there's nothing wrong with that and all this, except the tax laws are the worst for employees. As Warren Buffett says, he, as a business owner and investor, he pays a lower percentage rate than the employees. And many employees are having a tough time today. Not only is there high gas prices, but there's going to be higher taxes. My mother wanted me to become a doctor or a specialist or a small business person. And I said to my mom, S stands for smart. She says, you got a good point there, because I didn't do well in school, so I wasn't going to make it there. It was my rich dad who advised me to become an entrepreneur or a big business owner like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, Michael Dell, all those guys who created Facebook and Yahoo and all this, or Google. And he wanted me to become an investor. So he started me playing the game of Monopoly, 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So I learned to be an investor, and I learned to be an entrepreneur. So the good news is, and so it was my rich dad who said to me, he says, Robert, if you really want to be rich, learn to build businesses. It made more sense to him to work hard to build a business, something you owned and something you could pass on for generation to generation to your kids. Whereas my poor dad said work hard, but my rich dad said, why would you work hard for something you'll never own and you can get fired from right away? Again, that was the difference in values. So my rich dad suggested I learn how to be a business owner and learn how to be an investor. And that's one of the big differences. On this side of the quadrant, these people here work for security. They work for money also. On this side over here, their key value that they want is they want freedom. They don't want to have to work at a job anymore. They don't want to have to work for the rest of their lives. So the beauty of building a business and learning how to invest is very simply that this is passive income. You work hard for a few years, but possibly for the rest of your life, income keeps flowing to you.
Well, I just really love the way that he explains the differences in mental framework between employees and entrepreneurs. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. People that are used by the system and people that use the system for their own benefit, okay? I'm going to vary one thing from what he says, and I'm not really contradicting him because I actually know where he stands on this idea of the internet, marketing on the internet, creating royalties. I know where he stands on that, and it's very positively, by the way. But rather than getting involved in a small business on the equity side, I am very much opposed to people today to getting involved in any equity-based business. Okay, I think it's a bad place to be for virtually anybody. Hey, there's a 96% failure rate. Okay, are you going to invest in something seriously? Somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I've got this great investment for you. It's a 96% failure rate." Whoa, yeah, let's sign up on that, right? Let's think about this another way. If you're looking for a job, are you going to look for a job in a place where the company that's your employer has a 96% failure rate within 10 years? This is one of the many reasons why the typical employee only has a job for about 3 to 4 years right now before they have to change jobs, and often entire careers. So I'm going to modify something that Robert Kiyosaki says just a little bit here. I believe that today, the best place to be is to be developing revenues and cash flow on the internet by yourself, perhaps as part of a team, but not as an employee, but working together with other people in a collaborative way, working online on the internet, developing revenues, and especially if you can get hooked up in a place where you can develop royalty income streams. This is an incredible situation that has evolved for many, many years, where companies that have goods and services are allowing us, the consumers, to own the rights to their marketplaces. This is incredible, and I encourage you to peel this onion and investigate this a little bit further, because what you may have experienced in the past in terms of consumer networks and things like that has changed dramatically in the last few years. And if you are discarding the value of consumer networks and creating royalties using the internet, if you're discarding that because you may have had an experience with that company, name the company from the past, Amway, Mary Kay, Shackley, whatever, okay? if you're discarding this concept because of what you experienced there, then I'm going to ask you to consider something. You'd never drive in a car if you discarded it because of the failures and the difficulties of the first pioneers in the automobile industry. Same thing with a plane. Can you imagine the first guy that tried to ride a horse, how many times he fell off? What on earth would we have accomplished as humans if the first person and everybody following had said, well, I guess humans just aren't supposed to ride horses? No. Industries and ventures need to go through struggles to be able to work the details out. And often what happens is all that really needs for that to get to be special is another little piece of technology to come along. The first guy that rode a horse developed a halter. And now all of a sudden, a halter and a saddle, whoa, that makes a big difference, right? Okay, so you get the idea. Let's get together and let's take a look at some options here. I don't have enough time in this video to get into huge detail. I'm just trying to open your mind to the fact that today, right now, rather than spending weeks, maybe months, maybe even years looking for a job, going through the whole employment process and resumes and trying to figure out how do I get hooked up someplace, spend the next couple of weeks learning and developing cash flow streams in some of the tools that I'm going to be able to show you, and you'll be able to make thousands of dollars a month, and you may not have to worry about getting out of bed, joining the line out there on the freeway, commuting into work, working all those hours, having somebody screaming and hollering at you for half of what you used to make or half of what you want to make. Take control of that. Join this team. We've got the ability to do things together online that our parents never even dreamed of. I'll see you on the other side.